Today I welcome Daryan, president and co-founder of Protect.ai. Dee and his co-founders are leading the way in AI and ML security. We talk about their interesting journey, founding a successful security business despite having not come from a cybersecurity background. They had their first ever BlackHat, announcing an acquisition off the back of their impressive Series A raise a few weeks ago, led by Evolution Equity. I'm Oliver Legg, co-founder of Asperon Search. Enjoy the show.
Well, absolute pleasure to welcome Dee, the co-founder and president of Protect.ai. How's it going?
Well, thank you, Oliver.
Good stuff. How's BlackHat started for you so far?
You know, this is my first BlackHat, so it's an experience. It's been a good one. It's a lot of fun. It's a very interesting and very different type of audience than what our company is traditionally focused on. But there's a lot of excitement in the field that we cover, so it's been good.
Yeah, awesome. And you're staying for DEF CON, right?
I am staying for DEF CON, as is the team. We're very proud to be a Skynet sponsor of AI Village.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be super fun.
Yeah, awesome. Well, DEF CON is a completely different game to
So
BlackHat.
I've heard, and so I've seen.
You've
Wow,
got that to look
it's
forward
very
to as
different.
well.
Yeah. Somebody said they're two heads of the same coin. I said, "Are you kidding? One's coin and one's like Bitcoin. It's completely different."
Well, I'll have to text you and see your thoughts on DEF CON.
Absolutely.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
But no, really good to have you on. You've exploded out into your Series A, which was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was public about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Right, yeah, led by the crack team over at Evolution Equity. So they've got
Richard and his team are phenomenal. They're just great people, and Salesforce was included in that round. The Salesforce Ventures team is also fantastic, and they have between the two of them, Evolution with their cybersecurity capabilities and application security, info security, and Salesforce's just breadth of what they're doing in the artificial intelligence, foundational model landscape is just wonderful partners for us. We were very excited.
Yeah, they've had some impressive firms come out of them. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what you guys can do. But for people that don't know, if you can give a bit of an introduction into what Protect.ai is and what kind of security problem are you aiming to solve?
Well, we like to say we're either branding geniuses or branding morons. Protect.ai is what you would assume. It is protecting AI applications and machine learning systems from both classic vulnerabilities and new forms of vulnerabilities. So in the classic side, there's always the same types of remote code execution, RCE, LFI, RFI type things that occur at the code level of the components used in any system. Zero trust architecture principles, those types of things need to be applied, of course. But on the whole host of new ones, there's everything from adversarial machine learning to, the attack du jour right now is prompt injections, right, on these large language models. And so we cover the entire spectrum of that. We integrate with a number of top security companies, all of the machine learning pipeline systems, and so it bridges the gap between the application security teams who typically aren't as familiar with ML as maybe they would want to be, and machine learning engineers and data scientists who really haven't had to think about security at the core of what they do in their day-to-day jobs. And so very similar to what has happened with DevOps migrating to DevSecOps, where you have shift left type of mentalities and security is everyone's responsibility. We want to do the same thing in the ML ops environment by moving the industry to adopt ML SecOps.
Yeah, awesome. And you all have a pretty unique background in terms of founders of security businesses, because rather than coming from a security background, you've all come from an ML background. So talk us through that kind of story and how you've now come to be running and founding a specific cybersecurity company.
Yeah, that's a really interesting question, and I liken it to, we ran some of the largest AI ML businesses and the go-to-market motions of those businesses across the major cloud providers, including AWS and the AI/ML business there, so things like Amazon SageMaker, AWS Personalized, the new Bedrock, those types of services. We ran that, and my co-founder Ian Swanson and I, the CTO ran all of the application development for OCI's AI services, Oracle Cloud And so the three of us had two shared understandings. Number one, we knew what it took to get AI into a scalable, enterprise class type of environment. The second thing we knew was the frustrations that everybody had in doing that. And so, not to mention, so many of these services aren't really highly integrated. They're not seamless in a lot of ways. There are some who are better than others. But we knew that if we could address the pain points of making a machine learning engineer or data scientist engineer's life easier, that would be beneficial. But at the same time, what we saw was as people in the race to build AI applications and deploy ML systems, they were doing things that left security gaps in place. There were things that weren't covered. There are assets that weren't being scanned. There are supply chains that weren't being, enumerated. There's a whole list of things that needed to happen. And so we said, hey, could we do something that makes an ML engineer and a data scientist's life easier, but also makes what they create far more secure? And how do you do that? Well, you need to do that by giving them context and giving the application security team enough context and taking the existing tools that application security teams and AppSec, InfoSec teams have and applying them into the ML pipeline. Because code is not code. If that were true, everything you did before for security of data centers would work for cloud, and it doesn't, and it didn't. So just because you're doing something in traditional CI/CD pipelines or traditional code pipelines does not mean that is sufficient for the machine learning systems and the AI application process, right? The process of deploying an AI application.
Yeah, good stuff. So yeah, so an interesting story of where you've felt the pain point as an engineer and realized that there's a way to fix that.
Yes.
And has that brought any issues, having not come specifically from a security background?
I wouldn't say it's issues. I think it's challenges, right? But I think even if we were to start a pure play ML company, there'd still be challenges. But that's the fun of starting a business or starting a company or starting a new team. Whether you are creating a new company or you are brought in to lead and manage your first product or your first team if you're at a big company, it's a lot of fun, right? And you're going to do things. We have an ethos at our company, which reads and is stated as we're comfortable being uncomfortable. Because for us, that discomfort is growth. Personal, professional, technical, business, it's all growth, right? But you have to be comfortable with that insecurity.
Yeah, no, love that. And you've grown to just over 30 people now, haven't you?
Yes, we have. Yeah, high concentration in the Seattle, Washington area, regional offices in Texas and in North Carolina.
Yeah, and what's the
And
struggle?
a new office, by the way.
Okay.
A new office in the UK. We acquired a company called Hunter.dev, and we are recasting that to be, it's a business that's focused, it was the world's first OSS bug bounty program. And we decided, hey, because the AI ML environment runs on OSS, we like to say there's no original art in machine learning and artificial intelligence. It's all built on the backs of OSS. We loved what that team did, and so we acquired that team, which is it was a UK entity, 418sec.com, founded by Adam Nygate. Great team, small team, 3 people, but they have over 10,000 hackers on their platform. They are the 5th largest CNA in the world. So we acquired them and are now focusing that effort solely on AI ML. So if you go to Hunter, huntr.mlsecops.com, and I'm sure it'll be in the show notes, you can earn up to $50,000 in prizes by hacking models and data and the code of open source assets used in AI ML.
You need to tell a lot of people that at DEF CON.
We will. We're going to be really excited to be at AI Village. We have a panel about how to get started in bug bounty hunting on AI ML. And it's more than just, can I do prompt injections? Can I do jailbreaks? Those are unsolvable problems. We think that the biggest vulnerabilities are actually in the supply chain. It's just that there's not enough security research being focused on it.
And am I right in saying that Tuesday, so first day of BlackHat, you announced a new product as well?
We did. We announced Hunter, and then we also have ModelScan. ModelScan is an open source tool that is an industry first, scans any model for essentially serialization attacks. If you go to our GitHub, Protect.ai's GitHub, and you look at it, you'll see ModelScan or if you go to Protect.ai.com, you will find on our blog page the model scan tool. And we're telling everybody at BlackHat, if there's one thing that you leave this conference with, it is to deploy model scan in your environment. It's OSS. We gave it away. Scans all the types. Like, do anything you can do, because that is a big area of vulnerability.
Yeah, fantastic. And I mean, being recently announced your Series A, a good amount of 2023 left. What's in store, and what should people be keeping their eyes out?
Yeah, so obviously this year we're going to debut our flagship product called AI Radar. Mm-hmm. It is an MLSecOps platform. So as I started the conversation, we talked about this need to adopt security at every phase of the model lifecycle. So MLSecOps needs to do a couple of things. It needs to integrate the existing security tools, but it needs to play really nicely and really seamlessly with the ML environments and the development environments of ML engineers and data scientists. And that product does that. It creates an ML bill of materials, or ML BOM, a dynamic ML BOM, and it allows you to create policies and gates inside of your flows so that you can standardize security processes across your ML environment. But above all else, for the ML engineers, the reason we're so excited is that it's cross-platform, it's vendor neutral. It allows you to search and query, see anything, ask anything, have the results returned, and allows you to do essentially a git-diff comparison of the entire ML environment. That helps with things like patch management. It helps with incident response. It helps with governance and compliance components. So we're really excited about that. I think that is the number one thing we are focused on. And we are also focused on really growing our bug bounty program and the Hunter platform. We have 10,000 security researchers on it. We're focusing them on AI/ML, and we intend to really educate the industry on the threat awareness and vulnerability of AI assets, whether it's foundational models, orchestration tools, open source data components, Hugging Face transformers. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, well, really excited to see it all happen, and looking forward to seeing you a common face at BlackHat and DEF CON for years to come.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure to have you on, Dee.
Yeah, thank you, Oliver. It's a pleasure.
Awesome.
We hope you've enjoyed this latest episode of CyberBytes, the podcast. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and tell your friends. If you want to explore being a guest, or how Aspiron Search can help you build high-performing security and go-to-market teams, then get in touch on LinkedIn or info@aspironsearch.com.